Hello everyone, and welcome to the Minish Recap, your bite-sized gaming news show for 10 minutes or less, but probably not that today, because we've got a lot to talk about. Mainly, have Sony won E3? I think so, some people might disagree. Today we're here to discuss that. I'm Dan, and I will be your host for today. I'm joined by podcast regular Xiaber.
Hey.
The second best member of Rush of the Fort, it's Josh.
That's a lie, and here I am.
And making his debut on the ZBN channel, it's Kyle.
Hello.
So yeah, we've got a lot to run through. Let's kick it off with the hype train. Sony really got the ball rolling here. They started with The Last Guardian.
Yeah, oh my god.
That just sort of blew everyone away,
that
didn't
was
it?
huge.
It was
Yeah.
completely out of nowhere. Boom. Aside from the hype train is real, I don't actually have that much to say about this. It just... gameplay. Scripted gameplay, but gameplay nonetheless.
We've already seen The Last Guardian before, but I mean, most of the things to get excited about now is the fact that it's back and that it's not actually dead.
Yeah, that is pretty much it, isn't it?
I mean, it looks nice.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? Like, it's so pretty, and it looks like it'll be fun.
Yeah.
One of the things I noticed, it really looks like it's kind of a combination of Ico and Shadow of the Colossus in the way that it's a sort of escort quest.
But you have a
your
giant
companion.
creature.
Yeah, your companion is a Colossus, and I thought that was kind of like an interesting point there.
The way he was climbing the bird dog creature reminded me of Wander and the Colossus. How
yeah,
you got to climb him.
I really hope it isn't as hard to climb him.
Yeah, that's true.
I assume he's not going to be fighting you, although he might
Get off of me.
So then, yeah, we had the hype train was real. Everyone was like, we were all just like, how are they going to follow this? What? And they came out with Horizon Zero Dawn, which I thought did quite a job following it. It's like a post-apocalyptic situation where you're like a tribal person living in the ancient ruins of human civilization, and there are cybernetic animals you have to hunt, and it's really intriguing. It looks like a world that I kind of want to get lost in. I find it really interesting. I want to explore it, and I think as far as game sort of announcements go, that's a pretty good job they've done, making me want to actually jump into that world. So could flop, could not, who knows. What did you guys think?
Yeah, it looked like a really interesting concept, and they actually had gameplay, which was really nice for like a first reveal.
Sony did a lot of gameplay at the start.
Yeah, they did.
Before they dropped the ball, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. The one thing I will say that I didn't like about this gameplay demo was that the main character had way too much banter going on, like an unrealistic amount of banter. That's not going to be in the full game, I imagine.
They could definitely change that.
That'll definitely be cut, because it was a lot of her trying to sneak about, but then just going, I'm sneaking now, and there's a thing over there, and I'm going to go and kill it. And it's
I should get under this creature so I can shoot it better. And, okay.
I hope I'm not seen by this creature.
Yeah. It's so artistic and theatrical.
Yeah, less of that. Don't want any of it. See, I think that's a pretty good game to keep on your radar. Just keep an eye on it. It might be horrible on launch. They might Watch Dogs it up, but who knows. Next up we had a game that I'm personally pretty interested in, Hitman.
Oh yeah.
We only saw a CG trailer, but hopefully we'll see more in Square Enix's conference later today. I don't know.
I'm hopeful for it.
I'm really hopeful for it. If we do, you'll hear my thoughts, because I'm going to do a Minish recap on that. Me and Xiber are going to do it, so hopefully, unless he ditches me. So yeah, it's a Hitman game. It will most likely be very fun. Did they say missions that were exclusive to PS4? I think.
I don't remember seeing that. I could be wrong though.
They might have said like first on PS4. They said that a lot.
Yeah, there was something like that. Or I remember them saying one of them had a exclusive beta just for PS4, so it might be that. I probably should have noted this stuff down, but whatever.
Sony likes to do that kind of stuff, so there's probably something exclusive.
It'll be good. Next up we have Street Fighter V. Anyone have any real care for that series because I don't.
I mean, I don't really play Street Fighter that much, but they did win over fighting fans. I know that. And you know.
Yeah, at least you're not going to be paying $5.99 to play as Ryu this time.
Yeah. And
it was weird seeing Ryu in that game.
Yeah. And the beta's coming out in July, so I'm sure that'll get people excited.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where I feel like there is definitely a big fan base for it, but it just doesn't really affect me personally.
Yeah,
it looks like a good game.
I've always liked the style of Street Fighter, and I mean, it was always one of the more visually appealing fighting games to me. But I can't really get into fighting games too much. Like, the controls are too complicated. Like, the skill ceiling is too high.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on that. Then we moved on to. A lot of people were pretty hyped about this. No Man's Sky. They showed gameplay that was apparently not scripted. They said that it was a brand new planet that he'd never been to before. Don't know how much of that I believe. So.
Well, I mean, they said they had a marker on the planet, so I think they planned that for E3.
Yeah. So it looks okay. My only worry with this game is that they're promising it to be so big, and if the community isn't there, then I feel like it will kind of feel empty when you actually do play it. Like, there'll just be nothing really there. It kind of relies on other people to keep it going. Yeah. And if the hype dies, then it might not happen.
It seems like it's going to be a really expansive, wide game without too much depth to it, at least from what I've seen so far, because they haven't shown me anything else to tell me otherwise, because the mechanics look very shallow to me.
Yeah, it kind of just looks like, might be good.
Yeah,
I'm
hopeful.
The thing with that game with me is that I feel like I would want to spend a lot of quiet time and, like, you know, searching for different landscapes, but the enemies might get in the way, and I'll, like, get annoyed by that.
Or someone will just come in and completely grief you by coming out of nowhere and shooting.
Exactly.
Which is exactly what I'm going to be doing. And also I'm going to be terraforming planets to have giant phalluses drawn on them, because why would I not do that?
Exactly.
Speaking of drawing phalluses, here is the drug trip that, like, the introduction for this game was just a guy going, we were like dreams and we wanted to put them in a game, but then, like, we couldn't because it wasn't a thing, so we did this dreams thing, and I'm like, what is this? It was so trippy. But essentially it looks like a drawing thing where you can animate it, where everyone's just going to be drawing really inappropriate stuff and putting it on YouTube. So that's about all that game amounts to. Dreams.
Media Molecule always sounds like a bunch of stoners when they're presenting their games. They're always like that with Little Big Planet, like, these are dreams that have come to life, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, it looks like something that I would like to test out for a little bit, but, you know, I'll just probably get bored with it and want to make something explode in another game.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like, it feels like something original but not really interesting at all. Like, it's got good ideas, but no.
Yeah, I think, like, the past two games were just kind of made for specific people. I'm just not one of them.
Yeah, that is probably the case. I've got a few of those coming up.
Little Big Planet already had, like, a video making feature on it that's very similar to what they've been showing. I mean, not as expansive in its mechanics, but this could have easily been included in the next Little Big Planet game, I think, from what we've seen so far.
Yeah. So yeah, moving on. Next we saw quite probably, I think, my favourite thing we've seen all E3, Firewatch, which, oh my god, it's charming. The dialogue is just adorable, it's funny, it makes me smile. IGN released a 19 minutes of gameplay thing, and I couldn't resist watching it, and I fell in love with that game. It's beautiful.
I'll have to check that out.
It looks great.
It looks like Team Fortress 2 with the visuals. It plays like, I don't even know, it's just like you go and do chores and you, like, because you're playing as a fire watchman in a tower in, like, the wilderness, and you go and do chores and you only have, like, one person, like, that you communicate with, and she's a little bit sarcastic and quite funny, so, like, you have these little quirky little dialogues through the walkie-talkies that remind me of, it's kind of like if GLaDOS was a bit nicer.
Yeah, a little bit.
And not trying to kill you.
I actually thought about that too.
So that was really nice. I think this.
I'm really intrigued to see, like, what happens later on in the story in Firewatch.
Yeah, because it seems like weird stuff is just gonna start happening.
Yeah, if it's going to be like a lot of action or like a lot of story-driven
I think it'll be
weirdness
more
to
like
it.
mystery
Yeah.
sort of.
Because it's talking
Like-
about 2 girls gone missing and now there's some random person in your tower.
Yeah. Like I reckon it's just gonna be every now and then something weird sort of crops up and you're gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah, so we'll see about that.
Next up was probably the first thing that didn't feel really original or interesting to me at all. Destiny had an expansion. Nah.
Yeah.
Anyone?
eh.
Not much of a player of Destiny.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't.
I guess since none of us are representing the Destiny fandom, I know very few people who really, really love that game, and most of what I've heard from that game is just that it's just kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I feel like some people really like the expansion, but it's just not for me, really.
Yeah.
I think it was the expansion before this, and my friend was all like, "Hey, Destiny is finally good."
That's pretty cool. So yeah, moving on. We then saw Assassin's Creed Syndicate, but we saw that at Ubisoft, so, you know. Yeah, Evie looks cool. She looks like an interesting character to play as. She looks quite badass. Aside from that, you know, I like the setting. I like Assassin's Creed. It's going to be fun, so...
Yeah.
I'm on board.
I liked what they showed of Evie. She looks like a really cool character, and I think they're going to give Evie a flying type evolution this time. I'm hopeful for that.
Very funny.
Just why?
I had to say it. I had to do a Pokemon joke. It's mandatory.
But yeah, the Sony exclusive stuff was they have a few... I think they have chapters that you can only play on the PlayStation 4, so that's pretty good. Next up, I actually didn't hate this, and it was Final Fantasy, so GG for that, guys. It was World of Final Fantasy, and it's adorable. I love it. I love the visuals. I won't like the gameplay will suck, but it's adorable. Genuinely, it made me really happy. It just looks lovely. Xiber, you're a resident person who likes these games. What do you think?
I think it definitely looks interesting, and like what's interesting to me is that they're all like, "Hey, we finally have a Vita game, but we hate Vita, so it's also on the PS4."
I don't even remember them saying it was on the Vita.
Well, it said at the very end on Vita and PS4. But yeah, it looks interesting. I have no idea how it's going to play or anything really, though.
I'm assuming it'll be a turn-based JRPG situation, right? Cause
Well, it looks turn-based, but like the way they're stacking people on top of each other, what's up with that?
True. It might... I don't know. I'll never play it, so...
Yeah,
whatever.
I really like the art style they have going with this one. I'm not the biggest fan of the art direction that Final Fantasy has been taking the past decade or so. And I much prefer the older style of the games that were like on the Super Nintendo and stuff. And also, like, I wish they would have just get rid of the new art style they have and go with the art style they had for Bravely Default. I really love that style. But this is a nice little substitute, I think. I'm excited for it. More excited for it than I am for Final Fantasy 15 or whatever.
That's weird to me, but okay.
Yeah, so that's that. We then had the Final Fantasy 7 remake. I have nothing. Go ahead.
I don't know, like, the whole time people kept saying, we want a Final Fantasy remake, I'm all like, well, how? Like, all these things, how are they going to translate to a better visual 3D and such, and how is it going to still be rated T? Is it going to be rated M now with all the things?
That's a good shout. Doesn't someone get stabbed, like, through the stomach in that game or something?
Yeah, there's a
Or
little
they
bit of
go
a
to a
spoiler.
love hotel and all
Yeah,
that
yeah.
such.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say who gets
Yeah.
stabbed through the stomach, even though it's like the joke spoiler of the century.
Right.
But I mean, now it's actually relevant again. So, because I guess some people who haven't played it might care about that spoiler.
Yeah,
now.
maybe.
I also wonder,
Interesting.
like, will people even like this remake?
I don't know. It looked pretty.
I know, but it's like, they've been playing this old game and such, and they have all this nostalgia. Is this nostalgia going to stay with them while they're playing this game, or are they going to be all like, oh, hey, this isn't as good as I thought?
That's a good shout. I have no idea.
And then also, now that it's finally happening, what are they going to complain about?
That's actually a good point.
Yeah.
As someone who played Final Fantasy VII for the first time last year. I feel like it was a little bit outdated. Like it just didn't really age well. So I'm actually kind of excited for this remake because I really like the story, and I just wanted to see it in a more updated gameplay.
Fair enough. Moving on, we then saw 4 new games from Devolver. I have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
They're making Ronin, EITR, don't know how to pronounce that, Mother Russia Bleeds, and Crossing Souls. Does anybody have any idea what any of those things are?
I have
Mother
no
Russia
clue.
Bleeds looks like a Double Dragon kind of game where it's like a classic beat 'em up, and that game looks like a lot of fun to me. But
Yeah, these 4 kind of looked very indie, like that sort of thing. Like they were a bit pixely, weren't they?
right, yeah.
I don't know. They could be interesting. I have no idea.
I'm a little worried that they showed 4 games from one developer. Like, if they can handle that, that's cool and all. But working on 4 games at once is a little worrisome.
Yeah, they could be very short.
Yeah. Well, they looked quite like short, simplistic, sort of arcadey pixel games. So it's kind of like they're not 4 massive AAA games.
Yeah, so it'll probably be fine.
Maybe it's fine. Or maybe they come out in like a 4-pack, so it's like all 4 on one disc. Maybe.
Yeah, like an arcade situation.
Yeah. Who knows? I genuinely don't know about that. We got a Kickstarter next, Shenmue 3. I have never played Shenmue. Anyone got anything on that?
I haven't played Shenmue. I would love to since I own a Dreamcast, but I'll support it. I want it to happen. I wanted to see it do well.
Yeah, I can get behind it. I probably won't play it, but I'm happy for it. It's now funded. It got $2 million in like 10 hours, which is breaking the Kickstarter record.
That's
so
crazy.
It kind of goes to show what a big sort of announcement thing at E3 can do for something.
I mean, fans have been waiting
that's
for
quite
like
good.
14 years about, so.
Yeah, maybe it's just one guy put the whole 2 million in.
I'm hoping that if they get funded enough, then they'll release Shenmue 1 and 2 with the third one, because
That'd be sort of like how Bayonetta did on the
pretty much
on the Wii U. Yeah, that'd be quite
That'd
good.
be very
I
nice.
think I'd maybe play the whole series if they did
Yeah.
that. Then Batman Arkham Knight had a trailer that kind of felt underwhelming to me because we've already seen trailers that were way more interesting.
This trailer was
I don't know.
really terrifying, I thought, more so than any other trailer we've had so far.
Yeah, that is true. It did the horror thing quite
Yeah.
well, but it just, I don't know, it didn't drum any gameplay or anything in, and because the result sort of felt like it didn't have as much content to me.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like I know how this is going to play. You might as well just show me some gameplay.
Yeah, it just really,
Like proper
I guess it
gameplay.
just set the tone for the gameplay.
Yeah.
It set the tone for the Scarecrow, and that's really nice. Scarecrow is one of my favorite Batman villains, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I think the Scarecrow parts were probably the best bits of the first
Yeah,
one.
I can agree with that.
'Cause
Yeah, it was
they
a
were
lot of fun.
they were brilliant. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I'll play it, but I don't know. That trailer just didn't really hit me with anything.
Yeah.
Next, we saw VR. We saw Morpheus. That really doesn't excite me, to be honest. Like VR kind of feels like something that until I actually experience it, I'm never gonna really be able to get behind it as a product because it has such a high entry level for cost, and I just don't see it as worth it right now. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm on the same page.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
We really don't know if it's going to even like work well.
Yeah, and that. I think I'm not going to get into VR for a good sort of 10 years until it's like a solid thing that we know will work. They announced Rigs, a 3v3 shooter for Morpheus, where you'll never be able to get 6 people in a game because no one will have Morpheus, so that's a good waste of time for them. Next was ultimately the worst part of the conference, but I was going to not even mention this, but I figured we had to. Call of Duty Black Ops 3, they dragged it out for way too long. It became a bit intolerable, but it's a money maker, so they were gonna do it. Like
It's
Yeah.
bound to
it
happen.
was gonna show up at some point.
I thought that Sony was doing a really good job up until this point of pacing their conference. Like, they had very little time between showing off games, and they had a lot of gameplay going on for a while. And then they got to Call of Duty, and then they talked about it and talked about it, and then they showed a demo, and then they talked about it, and then it just dragged on way too long.
Yeah, it just kind of felt like it was never going to
Yeah.
end. It was, and really, if they added Pele, then maybe it would have been.
He would have
better.
saved
Pele
it.
would have saved everything.
No. Thank you, based Pele. So yeah, moving on from Call of Duty, there was a sizzle reel, but I saw I hate sizzle reels because there's not enough time for me to process what's actually happening, so I have no idea what happened in this entire sizzle
Sony
reel.
likes those
I would love
montages
to,
a
but-
lot. They do them all the time during the conferences.
Yeah. They did at the beginning too.
Yeah. I think this one had Ratchet and Clank in it, but we didn't actually see Ratchet and Clank at the full
Yeah,
conference. But they were in the sizzle reel. That was really weird to me because it's like they showed that trailer like a week ago. Why not save the trailer? Because I figured if they were showing a trailer before E3, they probably had something like bigger to show at E3, and the trailer was being used to hype that. But
Yeah.
no, there was just nothing. It felt really weird, especially
Yeah.
for something that they seem to be trying to push at the moment. But,
If they showed
oh well.
I-
if they showed Ratchet and Clank instead of Call of Duty, that would have been fantastic.
Oh my god, that would have perfected it. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
saw
after this-
gameplay videos of it somewhere on YouTube, and it looked really good.
yeah, it does look great, but nope, Sony hate it. Oh well, cancelled, done now.
It's too cartoony.
Burn every copy. Speaking of too cartoony, we had a little bit of Disney Infinity. There.
Eh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, like with Call of Duty, they dragged on too long. I'm fine with
Yeah.
Call of Duty fans. I'm fine with Disney Infinity fans. Both of those games have their audience, but they took up way too much time at the Sony conference.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly my thoughts. Also, they hyped up Boba Fett like he means anything, but let's be honest here, Boba Fett is just a dumb idiot who stands around doing nothing, pretending he can use a jetpack, and then the moment he has to use his jetpack, doesn't know how to fly it and falls in a Sarlacc pit.
Well-
Stop saying Boba Fett is interesting. He's
Well,
not.
Han Solo hit him in the back, so I mean,
Yeah,
not really
well,
his
come on,
fault.
If you're a good jetpack pilot, you wouldn't fall in the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, that's,
Don't try and
Dan,
justify it.
Dan would know this.
that's a good point.
Can I
I'm
borrow
an
your
expert.
jetpack, Dan?
I'm a pro, like, come on now. Anyway, that was a tangent. Speaking of Star Wars, we got a little bit of Star Wars Battlefront. It felt like the exact same footage we saw from the EA conference, except instead of the ice planet Hoth, it was a desert planet from, I think, Episode 7, because it didn't feel familiar to me.
It looked
Yeah,
like
it-
it could have been on Tatooine, but I'm not
Well,
sure.
then again, the one from Episode 7 looks like Tatooine as well.
Right.
Yeah. I think I saw the crashed, I can't remember the name of the ship, but there's like that massive ship in the
Star
trailer.
Oh, the Star
That's
Destroyer.
crashed. Yeah, I think I remember seeing that in the background of the footage, so it might be Episode 7. Yeah, it looks fun. It looks like it'll be a good shooter. Nah,
Yeah, I mean,
that's all I've got.
I've been in the notion that EA is gonna mess it up, but it actually does look pretty good from what we saw from
Yeah.
E3.
Yeah, if they
the only-
can. Alright,
But the
what
only
were you gonna
problem
say?
is that they don't have Galactic Conquest, which was by far my favorite part of the two original Battlefront games, and they don't have soldier classes. It's all just loadouts, so that kind of disappoints me.
Like, is the gameplay even going to be about command posts and taking them over?
I have no idea. I think it's just gonna be about missions and stuff, and go here and go there.
I actually really like Battlefield games, and I feel like putting a Star Wars twist on that is a really cool concept. Only if DICE can pull it off without making it a glitchy mess at launch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I think that's probably the general opinion of people have given up trying to think it'll be like the old Battlefront games, and now everyone's sort of settling in and going, I'll be alright with it if it's just a good Battlefield
Mm-hmm.
with a bit of Star Wars. So yeah, it should be good. I don't know, but yeah, the final thing, the bookend on the Sony hype train, the thing that won it back for me was Uncharted, where there was a black screen for 10 seconds and then Nathan Drake stood still.
He was just show
I
shocked
thought
by the
they were-
graphics. Like he was motionless.
I thought they were trying to show all the characters moving around.
Yeah. I remember in the Skype chat we had, I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no.
Yeah, we were just sat there like, did they drop the ball on Uncharted? How have they done this? But you know, they got it working. They connected the controller. That was so. That
And
was
then the
nice.
gameplay was glorious.
Oh man,
It looked great.
It looks like Uncharted, and I like Uncharted, so it's not missing anything. You know what else it has?
Grappling
Solely?
hooks.
You know what else
Sadly,
it has, guys?
solely.
Grappling hooks.
Grappling hooks.
It has grappling hooks. I love grappling hooks.
Yeah, and
Okay, Mabel.
one observation I had when I was watching the gameplay was that watching the driving section, I was like, okay, this is going to be way too linear. It was the same thing with the running scenes in Uncharted 3. But then I listened to the Naughty Dog employees talking about it after the conference, and they said that there's like so many alternate paths that they designed there that no matter what path you go down, you will eventually get to where you want to be. So that's really cool.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
nice.
That is really neat. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, it just looked like a really fun Uncharted game. There's not a huge amount we can really say about that, I don't think. It just looked neat.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think Sony won E3. I don't actually know if Nintendo can bring it back and beat them like this afternoon, and I honestly would stamp this with my official seal of victory, because Last Guardian, Hitman, Firewatch, Horizon, Uncharted, like that's a good 6 awesome games. Since we're rating these conferences, let's start with Xiber. What do you think out of 10? Go. Putting you on the spot.
8.5 or 9.
Oh, that's good.
Mhm.
What about you, Josh?
I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. I thought it was really great, even though it had its low moments.
How about you, Carl?
I would give it an 8.5, and it would get a 9 or 9.5 if they announced backwards compatibility.
Oh, good shout.
Yeah.
Good shout. I'm with Josh on this. I think a 9. Would be a 10 if they hadn't dragged out like that whole Call of Duty situation. I think definitely would have been almost perfect.
It would have been a 10 for me if they announced Crash Bandicoot by Naughty Dog.
Oh, yeah.
I expected it, but unfortunately didn't show up.
So yeah, that was our take on the Sony press conference. This has been the Minish Recap. I've been joined by Kyle, Xiber, and Josh from Rush the Fort. We failed on the 10-minute thing.
Oh,
but,
no.
well, we'll live. We were never going to make that. It's okay. Well, none of the Minish Recaps this week will be under 10 minutes. It's a goal that we'll never achieve. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.